Hi, everybody. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
So I have been traveling the country, and I have been very excited to meet the community. I watch you through my screens, through my phone, all over the world when I travel, and I'm intrigued by the community and the depth of it. And I said, you know what? I wonder what their story is. So I decided to do a series called Review the Reviewer.
Yes.
And I'm here with Robert. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
And you're known as what channel?
Fragrance Journey 01 on Instagram and on YouTube.
And I'm really excited to be here. I mean, I'm in Memphis in a suburb. It's absolutely beautiful. The home is beautiful. Your area, this is beautiful. Everything that you've created for yourself is very beautiful. And you've come through a lot to get to this point,
yes,
right?
Yes, I definitely have.
And you give out bits and pieces of information about you say little bits and pieces of your life.
Yes, I do.
But I still think you're like the Phantom of the Opera, where you're very private.
Yes, definitely that.
Right, and you're shy, a little shy.
I am very shy.
Right,
very shy.
And are you nervous at all doing this?
I am a little nervous.
Okay,
but I appreciate you coming out.
All right, good. So let's dig right in.
Okay.
So first of all, we'll get to that. All right. So let's talk a little bit about you as a child.
Okay.
Okay, because you come from an interesting background.
Definitely interesting. I was actually born in Madrid, Spain. Long story.
I didn't know that either.
I was born in Madrid, Spain. My mother is from Bury St. Edmunds in England, a small town. My dad was in the Air Force. My dad was stationed in London, I think, and he met my mom. And they had me. They moved to Spain. Had to be stationed in Spain. So I was actually born in Madrid, Spain. My mother's mother lived in Bury St. Edmunds. My grandfather was from Memphis, Tennessee. He was over in London on duty, and he met.
He was in the military.
He was in the military.
Was this World War II?
I'm not sure which one. I think it may have been
during the war.
During the war.
Okay.
And he met my mom's mom and
your grandmother.
My grandmother, and that's my great grandmother.
Okay. Your grandmother.
Yeah, my grandmother. Yeah. That's how everything happened. So I actually have 3 grandmothers.
You have 3 grandmothers?
Yeah.
And so you're born. Now you have an interesting family. Mm-hmm. You have brothers and sisters, right?
I have a sister that lives.
Just one sister?
I just have one sister who lives in London.
Okay.
Actually lives in Milton Keynes in England. And she never really stayed with us that much when I was younger because we have different fathers. Her father's from Germany.
Okay. Wow. So you have a pretty eclectic family that isn't really common.
No, it's not really.
Right?
It's not really common.
And so you're born in Spain. How did you end up back into the United States?
Well, my dad moved when he left Spain. They moved him to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Okay. So we lived on the Air Force base in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which was actually nice because it was so sheltered.
Right. For how many years?
We moved there when I was 2.
Okay. So, and then you left at what age?
We left Albuquerque when I was 7.
So that's your childhood.
Yeah, that's my childhood.
Right? Basically, your friends at 7, you have friends. That must have been very difficult for you to leave your friends, right?
It's definitely difficult to go from that sheltered environment of living on the Air Force base to where we moved here in
Memphis, right?
When we moved to Memphis, it's actually a part of town called North Memphis. Okay. You have South Memphis and you have North Memphis.
And I have a feeling that you're going to tell me that North Memphis isn't exactly the Ritz-Carlton.
It's not the Ritz-Carlton. No, it was definitely an eye-opener for me, but it helped me a lot growing up because I matured a lot faster. You had to. So
because just people who are watching this, I really would like to give them the true essence because you mention it so much in when you're doing your lives. Is that was this now the projects? Was it a step above it? Would be considered like a Compton in Los Angeles? Like how? Not bad, but what are we talking about here? Are there gunshots outside?
Yeah, there's gunshots.
All right, so this is the inner city.
Yeah, this is the inner city.
Okay.
Shootings. I mean, you could just sometimes not go to sleep at night because the gunshots and things of that nature. So, it's pretty bad, but I can't do it.
Right, of course you have it. And what I want to do is I want to just get the as objective as possible because I want people to understand your background without judging it.
Yes.
Without judging it because that's your story.
Yeah.
right? And so you went from Albuquerque on a base where you're right, it was sheltered, probably very, very safe.
Very safe.
You had your core group of friends. You were going to school with them. You probably saw them. It wasn't like you left school and had another group of friends, right? So your peers. So you then left, and then you are dropped in this area where you really needed to change how you saw everything, right?
Yes, it was almost like being dropped in a den full of wolves. You know, I was
chicken.
I was so naive and young, and all of these guys have been fending for themselves for so long.
And they're telling their parents, because their parents are saying, you got to protect yourself, you got to this, you got to that. You didn't have that.
I didn't have that.
So in your head, especially as a child, everything was probably even more magnified because your brain is growing. It's trying to, and then then you're trying to change.
I was definitely trying to go from being sheltered to fending for myself and having to be a lot tougher.
Right, and that's something in us it's that fight or flight in us that we have inside of us that we're born with. That all animals, I don't want to say animals, that we're all born with is fight or flight, and so that's probably what you went into.
Yeah, it was a shocker. It was definitely a shocker. I got beat up a lot of times.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I got beat up a lot of times. Jumped. It just made me tougher.
Right, and that's your story, and so I don't want to move on to the next part of your life without respecting what you went through. But for the sake of this, so. You're living in that, and how long did you go through high school in North Memphis too?
Yeah, I stayed in North Memphis from the time I was 7 or 8, until I was 20 or 21.
And you are a very muscular guy, and I think anybody who has seen you will
wasn't back then.
Oh, you what? So did you play in sports in high school?
I did play sports.
What did you do?
I played football and I played basketball. I played AAU basketball coming up, so I was definitely an athlete growing up.
Really? AAU is what?
Amateur Athletic Union, I think
okay.
That's what it's called.
So you were sports?
Yes, yep.
And so you graduate high school, and then what? Like, what did you want to be? What were you thinking when you were in high school? Were you just trying to get to the next day, or did you have plans for
just
the future?
Just trying to get to the next day. Because my first 2 years in high school, I was all over the place. I wasn't going to school. I was skipping school, hanging out with the wrong kind of crowd. And I kind of woke up one day and said, you know what, I need to get myself together. Because I was letting my parents down. They were very disappointed in me. So I woke up one day and I said, you know what, I'm going to change myself. I started going to class, getting my grades. But by that time, it was too late.
Tell me why.
Because my transcript was so jacked up. I wanted to try to get a scholarship because my family didn't have money to pay for college.
Right.
They didn't have, like now they have like this lottery thing where every kid in Tennessee can go to school, a junior college. They didn't have
it back then, right?
They didn't have that back then. So
your grades were, I actually see it like you're trying to fit in. So what you would do is you became, you just didn't go to school. You're trying to fit in a little bit more. Yeah. You wanted people to see you like you're
like I'm cool.
You're tough and cool.
Yeah, I'm tough and cool.
So I get it. I understand why that would happen. So you put your nose to the grindstone. Would it be like your junior year? Or
it was like my junior year. I put my nose to I actually got sick. I got sick. I had to miss a lot of school. I had a heart condition. And that woke me up.
And then you said to yourself, there's time for change.
There's time for change. And ever since then, I've been on the straight and narrow. So
you just said that you graduated high school and you had a son.
Yep, I had a son when I was 20. When I was 20.
Young.
Yeah, young, really young. It made me change all my plans because I wanted to go to school for respiratory therapy, which I did. But having him, I had to get out and work.
Right.
That having him was definitely a blessing. That changed my life. But
and so for people to know this, I met the son. He's like a savant. He's absolutely brilliant. He's 19 years old, a young gentleman. You guys, the conversation that I had with him, I feel like I was talking to a 50-year-old.
Yeah, he's a very mature young man.
And the way he speaks, his language, his words, everything his vernacular is a first-class guy, so you guys did very well.
We tried to.
For him.
We tried to.
All right, so you have your son, and I realize that you have custody of your son.
Yes.
And so what happened with that? Just if you care to share, if you want to.
Well, me and his mother were a couple.
Right.
And things didn't work out, so he went to stay with her. I was living with my parents, and that really made me mature because I missed him so much. Because me and her lived together for a while, so I saw him every day. And then that was taken away from me when we separated.
Right.
And he would always come over on the weekends. And I paid child support. I always took care of him. I bought shoes. You know, you got a lot of parents that would just pay child support. That's it.
Right.
I bought him shoes, clothes. I always did everything for him. He was always with me, so I knew if I waited till he was 16, when it was his time to make a choice where he wanted to live.
Right, no brainer.
We went to court when he was 16. He was already living with me full time since he was like 14.
Right.
You know, but when he turned 16, we went to court, and he decided to come live with me full time.
Which is a testament to the type of father you are.
Yes.
Not taking away from the mother.
No,
Right?
not
Just
taking
in general
away
of the environment that you have given for your child, for your son.
Yes.
So let me ask you something. So you have your son. You go through. What is it that you do? Like, what's your occupation? I think everyone.
I'm actually a CCTV security analyst for the 5th largest school district in America.
Okay, so you're a busy guy.
Yes, I do all the cameras, all the access control, all the A-phone entries for the school district.
And so that keeps you busy.
Definitely busy.
And then you're married. You have a beautiful wife.
Yes, I have a beautiful,
What's her name?
beautiful wife, Kimberly.
Kimberly. So you've got Kimberly, and your son's name is
Isaiah.
And so Kimberly works for
St. Jude.
St. Jude Charities
No, she works for St. Jude Hospital.
Hospital.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I thought
she
it was
does
charity.
billing and coding.
Okay, so that keeps her busy then
Yes,
too. Very
yes,
busy, probably.
very busy. Yes, sir.
And so, so now that we have your background there, what was your first going back in your fragrance journey? How far back can you go when you first had your first fragrance? Because you still have a lot of, this is that you bought when you first started,
Yes,
right?
that's when my journey started basically a year ago. But as growing up, my dad wore cool water all the time. So I used to always go in and spray some of his cool water on. He used to always get mad. And my grandfather, who I only met a handful of times, always wore Fahrenheit. And that's something that I always remember.
Because Fahrenheit's strong.
It's super strong.
It's a strong fragrance, right?
Man, he had a lot of it on too. A lot of it.
And what is, you say someone calls it when they put a lot on? What was it?
We call it bundle spray.
Bundle spray.
When you just spray it. Yes.
And so your first, would you say your first journey in fragrance was cool water?
Yep, it was cool water.
With your father?
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
Yep.
And so when did you get your own bottle of fragrance? What do you remember?
It was maybe when I was 16.
Okay.
Maybe when I was 16, I had a bottle of cool water.
Okay.
That I just wore, and I sprayed it 1,000 times on all over.
They must have sold gazillions of cool water.
So many.
Do you remember that?
So many bottles.
And with Davidoff and even the advertising of the water and the man, and it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Cool water was everywhere.
I know a lot of people still love it to this day.
And so, so tell me now. So, what made you decide to open and start Fragrance Journey?
I just one day watching YouTube. I was big into Jordans and shoes, and one day I was just watching YouTube, and a fragrance video came on. I think it may have been Copeland. What's his name? Justin. Yeah.
In Portland.
In Portland. I watched one video from him, and then I must have watched every one of his videos, and it just intrigued me.
And you just said, I'm going to jump right in?
I just jumped right in. I went to Macy's and just started buying everything.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
And so what was your very first review on?
My very first review was on, I think it may have been YSL 010. As you can see, I put a big dent in it.
You have. Look at that.
Yep. Beautiful rose.
This is
That's a beautiful fragrance.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful. It's also wood.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so this was your first.
That was my first fragrance I bought a year ago.
And so you just started your channel a year ago.
Just a year ago.
And you have made all these. At each one is an episode that you've made.
I'm maybe 50 reviews behind.
Okay. All right.
I'm way behind on reviews, but a lot of them have been reviewed. Yep.
So you now. So right there, you said those are designers. So you started with going to Macy's and doing reviews. Did you get a lot of people talking about you and following you, or did it take some time?
It took some time. It definitely took some time. I was very nervous behind the camera, which I still am to this day. But it took some time when I really started to be more confident and actually being able to break down the chords in the fragrance that's when I think the channel started to blow up a little bit.
So you've done reviews on every single one of these, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so let me ask you now. So you went from designer and you made this jump, like
You just turn it. There you go. Turtle Me is beautiful.
it's a beautiful fragrance.
Beautiful.
I love Hermes fragrances.
Beautiful.
That's my fragrances, by the way. I love Hermes. So anyway, sorry, I
you're fine.
went out them. So what made you jump from this to the ultra niche?
I think I've always, even growing up, I always wanted to be different. I never wanted to always dress like somebody. If you wore this, I wanted to wear something different.
Right.
So everybody was wearing these. Everybody was wearing 1 Million Lucky. Everybody was wearing YSL Up Team. I said, you know what? Let's try to go in a different direction with this channel and in life with these fragrances and see if we can branch away and maybe start our own little thing.
And you have.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of these unknown fragrances, and this kind of is who you are.
Yep, that's what I am.
Because you're something. I don't want to say you're an oddball. You're not an oddball. It's just that you're very different than what one would expect. You're covered in tattoos. You're a big muscle guy. You work out. You make your own meals on Saturday,
Yes,
right, for the week.
Yep, I meal prep actually for my family.
Oh, for the family too.
Yep.
Wow,
Yep.
and so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And so that's why everyone's talking about your ribs. Right? You make good ribs.
I used to make really good ribs, but now it's more like grilled chicken and salmon. And
So you watch your intake, then you watch your carb intake, you watch all of that.
Yeah, I can show you some pictures of when I was hefty.
Okay, so we're gonna save that because we're gonna put it in your video.
Okay, I'll show
all right,
it
so
to
we'll
you.
show them. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, because I would love that. I would
Yeah,
love to show everybody.
I was maybe up to like 270.
Seriously?
Back then, yeah, I was huge.
So we need to see it now. Do you have it?
Yeah, I do have it. When me and my son separated, I kind of went into like a little
It was
weird
like a
thing.
depression.
Yeah,
like
and I
little
did
bit
a
of
lot of
depression.
drinking and things of that nature. And one day I woke up and said, you know what, I need to get myself together. And I went from 270 down to 163.
And this is you now?
That was me maybe 2 years ago. I put on a lot more muscle since then. That was my initial cut.
So I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna have him send me this picture so I can show it.
Yep.
So we have a couple of minutes left. What describes your channel, Fragrance Journey, on YouTube and Instagram, and hopefully when this airs, maybe you'll be inspired to put it on Facebook.
Okay.
To have a Facebook page. When you look at all of this, like what fragrance makes you the most happy when you wear it?
I would probably have to say Leather Oud by Christian Dior.
And this is a very, very hard fragrance in terms of wood. Yeah.
Yep, wood. It's got animalic notes. It's got oud. It's got leather. It's just a beautiful fragrance. Most people don't enjoy it, but to me, it's the artistry in the fragrance. There was so much time and effort you can tell put into this fragrance that I just respect it so much.
And I think that's the connection I make with you is the art of fragrance and the creation of it. And it's funny because this is sort of like you because it's a very tough fragrance, right? Would you say it's a very masculine fragrance?
Yep.
But it has the origins of a French couture house that's very that is rooted in history and heritage and beauty.
Yes.
And that's kind of you.
Definitely me.
That's
definitely
kinda
me.
you.
Hard on the outside, but soft on
the inside.
Yep, that's definitely me.
And so I'm at a party. I ask everybody this. I'm at a party, and they're like, "Oh, Robert. Oh, yeah, Robert is a like. What will people say about you at a party to describe you?"
Honest, loyal, respectful, and grateful.
That's actually beautiful.
That's
and if I want to add, successful, smart.
Thank you.
You're very driven.
Thank you.
You're very regimented, which inspires me because I need to be more like that. I've been trying to get rid of the chaos in my life, and so you're very. What is also the word I'm looking for when you follow? You put something there and you follow. Disciplined and focused.
I'm definitely disciplined.
100%.
Yes, definitely.
Right. I mean, you don't have a day where like I'm too lazy to go to the gym. You fight through it, right? You do it. Yeah.
You gotta go.
So maybe you'll inspire me for 2020, and maybe you'll inspire a lot of people too.
I hope so.
So thank you.
Thank you so much.
This was great.
Also remember, if you woke up today, you are definitely winning.
Yes. Who told you that?
I was told that by an old guy a long time ago.
If you woke up today, you're definitely winning.
winning.
And then you say another comment. You say another. You say if you woke up today, you're definitely winning. And you say it at the end of your things. You say God blessing.
I said if you woke up today, you're definitely winning. If you can't like, subscribe, leave a comment.
There you go. Yeah, so like, subscribe. There you go. There you go. God bless you guys.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, George.
Bye-bye. I'm the fortunate one. This is great.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.